let me know if and how I can support you in the guilt thing and not being so hard on yourself. It's like, it's the trauma of society. Everybody does this. It's like every single person around. The statistic is we spend 85% of our time dealing with the inner critic, dealing with the part of us that puts ourselves down, dealing with that whole dynamic. 80% of our vital energy goes to that. So imagine you just didn't do that. Imagine you just didn't do that. Like, you'd have 85% of your energy to just like enjoy your life, or realize that you're taking a breath, or feel the sun, or feel your body, or have a sip of tea. 85%, that's a lot of percent. Don't do it. Be a rebel. Be a rebel and don't do it anymore. All you have to be is neutral. It's so funny. We have this like fear of narcissism, and it keeps us in this like polarized thing of like self-flagellation. But we could just be neutral. We could just like not have an opinion about if we're like good or bad, and just have a life. We could just be people and have an experience, and do whatever we feel like doing, follow ourselves and have experiences. It doesn't serve anyone. It just passes on the virus. It just reinforces the cultural virus of self-sabotage, self-negating, self-hatred, all that stuff, to keep doing it. And, one way I know that would motivate you is that it would help your kids. It would help your kids if you didn't do that. If you could stop doing that and just be a neutral person, having a life, it would help them to not do that to themselves. So sometimes people need like a thing, like it's like, oh, well, I can't do it for myself, but I could do it for them. And I'd say any way that gets you there, gets you there. So I would say that. Make a commitment to the spirit of your kids. Here's some advice. I told you I never give advice. Here's some advice. Make a psychic commitment. You can take it or leave it. Make a psychic agreement with your kids that for their sake and any grandchildren you might ever have, et cetera, that you just will work on becoming a neutral person and just interrupting the pattern of the negative thing. And the first way to do that, this is like a big thing that I teach and want to teach, is to notice when it's happening and just name it. Just interrupt it. Just be like, oh, there it is. And actually, like, right, I'm here in my therapy space, right? And I have Ivan, my own critic, right? And I use it for other people's critic. And then I have sticks, right? And so when we hear, either one of us hears our critic speaking up, Ivan, pipe down, no more. So, I mean, I'm calling mine Ivan. I just named it like 2 days ago. But anyway, the first thing is to name it. Anyway, we can work on this if you want to. Notice it, name it, get something to represent it, like find a rock or crumple up a piece of paper or find an ugly stuffed animal or something and make that be your inner critic and get it the fuck out of your head. So you can see, like, I'm not it. That's not my voice. It's an internalized voice. I'll tell you all about this sometime. So this is my spiel. This is like what I want to travel and teach. This is my TED Talk. This is like my big thing, is teaching about the inner critic and helping people shift that relationship, because it is so fucking damaging to everybody. When we do it to ourselves, we think we're creating more space for each other, right? Like, oh, I don't want to take up space in this conversation because you probably don't want to hear about me and my miserable life or whatever. And we put ourselves down to kind of to the detriment of the group. We think we're helping the group by putting ourselves down. And instead, we're actually like pulling everything down. So we can just be neutral. We can just get that fucker out of our heads. Put it on the side, get yourself a nice stick, do a little bit of beating every once in a while. And that's a way to start. And then there's many, many more things that you can do. Great, awesome, powerful, important things to do with the critic. But I'd say that's the first step. Notice it when it's happening. create an external representation for it. If you can find a stick and let yourself hit it some, that's fun. And take your life back from it. It's just a virus that we pass around in our society. It's a meanness that's like internalized. And here's my newest little, my last little piece of advice. It's not advice, but it's my newest little theory. It's like a flipping of the golden rule, which the golden rule says, do unto others as you would have them do unto you. And the new more golden rule, I gotta come up with a name for it, but the new thing is speak to yourself the way you would speak to another person. Don't be any worse or more mean to yourself. The things that we say to ourselves are way, way, way meaner than anything we would ever say to anybody else. So why would we talk to ourselves that way? Come on. So anyway, that's my new version of the golden rule. Do unto yourself as you would do unto others. Okay. Enough of my speech. I'm working on it, because I got to get myself on stage. So thanks for the practice.